Hi, this is my review of 2012 and look forward to 2013. In my time in 2012, I have been across the world talking to many people about how they can improve their performance as leaders, talking to them about how their businesses run effectively, how societies run, and how they can get the best out of their people to be the best. And that's the simple objective that I think people should be trying to achieve. Now, the interesting thing is that having spoken to HR directors in Athens about crisis leadership, to partners of a law firm in London about entrepreneurial leadership, to people from a range of organisations in Hong Kong about entrepreneurial leadership, to the leaders of the Red Cross in Myanmar about how they can be more effective leaders within the crisis situations that they face, that there is actually a common thread that is the same for the lawyer in London, for the market trader in Hong Kong, for the person who works in a factory in Singapore, or for the person who even sits beside the road selling fruit in Myanmar to passers-by. And that one common theme is aspiration. The aspiration to achieve more, the aspiration to be better. And that is part of a basic human driver. And I think that is the key to organisational success, to the success of countries in 2013. Because if, through effective leadership, through entrepreneurial leadership, you can unleash the aspiration and help people achieve that, and through that deliver what the country or organisation needs, you will be the best. And that's what I call Mach 2 leadership. Effectively unleashing the aspiration and then focusing it on what really matters for the organisation, for the country, for the individual and for the leader. Now, the key challenge here is that aspiration effectively requires change, because you want to be better, and that means change must happen. But that is a challenge in many countries and in many organisations. The Western democracies have had maybe 150 years to move from command and control through to 21st century leadership that allows aspiration to flourish and innovation and creativity to flourish on the back of that aspiration. The problem is that with developing economies, particularly where within that particular country there has not been a democratic system, the move from command and control to 21st century leadership and the ability to meet aspirations has had to be achieved in 10 years or even 5 years. And that is a major challenge. But the interesting thing is that those countries are achieving that. And the worrying thing for the Western or traditional countries is that it's perfectly possible to go straight from command and control to 21st century leadership, missing out the stages in between that those countries had to go through. And that is one of the tricks that leaders are starting to learn in those developing economies, and that is having an effect. And it means that those countries are meeting the aspirations of their people. If you look at Indonesia, it has the fastest growing middle class in the world. At the moment, the Indonesian government is talking about increasing the wages of palm oil workers by 50% to help them meet their aspirations and to drive economic growth further. So the delivery of aspiration also is a driver to economic performance. There are also, within the aspirational model, there are without doubt groups that have very powerful aspirations. If you look at women across the world, particularly in countries where they have not been allowed to play a full part, an aspirational part within what happens in the country, that is now changing. And the aspirations of women and the ability to allow women within the society and within the organisation to achieve their full potential is another key factor that leads into success. So if we take aspiration as being the theme for 2013 and achieving that by Mach 2 leadership that unleashes the aspiration and focuses it on what matters for the individual, the organisation and therefore eventually the country, what's the role of leaders? Quite clearly the role of leaders is to give people the opportunity to meet their aspirations. And that means that leaders have to be effective at being leaders, not just at the top, but all the way down organisations. They have to take an entrepreneurial approach to being leaders. They have to recognise that achieving aspiration demands change. Change is a challenge, and that to achieve this, they need to give people the opportunity to innovate, to be creative, and to focus on the customer. So there needs to be a fundamental change in attitude amongst leaders to focus on those key things that make things work. And in addition to that, the other factor is simplicity. The fact that too many organisations do things in a much too complicated way. There is too much bureaucracy and paperwork about. And to achieve aspiration, you need to strip that out. So the other key theme, I think, of 2013 will be simplicity. So you never get anybody in your organisation saying, I can't do my job because the system gets in the way. So the key theme for leaders, I think, for 2013 is unleashing aspiration. By being effective leaders, by being entrepreneurial leaders, and combining all of this into what I call Mach 2 leadership, where aspiration drives the performance of the organisation, and through simplicity. For HR functions, it means facilitating this process, not doing it for leaders, but helping them understand the business case and the fact that they can be an effective Mach 2 leader pretty easily if they do the right, simple things day to day. This is not about complicated strategy. This is not about long 50-page, 60-page reports. This is about simple day-to-day actions that allow people in the organisation to achieve their aspirations. Whether that's the person on the shop floor or that's somebody at board level. The principles are exactly the same, and it can be done simply. And that's where the HR function comes in. And it develops talent through the same process. It creates a moral compass and a set of values through the same process. So the HR function is the facilitator of aspiration, the facilitator of Mach 2 leadership. So if you look at the thing in a holistic way, you are creating an environment where everybody in that organisation has the aspirations, is able to start to meet their aspirations. And that is facilitated by the organisation, because the organisation and the leaders in it recognise that if you help people achieve what they want to achieve, they will achieve what you want to achieve at the same time. And that utterly powerful combination is the secret to success. So from the perspective of you as an individual leader, remember the key points. It's about being a great leader, it's about being an entrepreneurial leader, and it's about keeping it simple and using those to unleash the aspirations of the people around you. So good luck for 2013 and make it a year of achieved aspirations.